Welcome to the Stories That Sparkle. I'm Hella Rader, and I'm really excited to bring you today's conversation with Regina, aka Regina McCarthy, aka award-winning author of Courageous Gilbert. So, yeah, woohoo, as I like to say. This conversation took place in her home outside of Chicago as part of the disco ball tour that I did in September. And one of my most favorite parts about doing that driving tour, aside from recording all these amazing women's voices, was being able to stay with people in their homes. Some of them I've known for a really long time. Some of them I've not known very long at all. And it was a real pleasure and a real treat for me to be able to spend 2 nights with Regina and her husband George in their home by a lake outside of Chicago. I would have never expected spending that kind of beautiful quality time with her and having this conversation, which she really wanted to have about the woo-woo and spiritual connectedness and the quantum physics nature of all of that. She really wanted to share her experience with all of us and get her voice out there about that specifically. So I was really thrilled on all levels, all fronts, to be able to do this with her. Spending time with her was a real, grounding de-escalation of everything for me. I was running on fumes by this point in the tour, and it really gave me the regenerative restoration that I needed to finish the week strong. So I'm really grateful to Regina for so many things, including this conversation. Before we get to that, I just have one small request. Please consider becoming a free or paid subscriber to my Substack, hellarader.substack.com. That is my creative hub. It's where all my writing lives. It's where the podcast lives. It's where the docuseries of the Disco Ball Tour lives. It's the creative hub. So please consider becoming a free or paid subscriber and help me continue to build that platform to bring more women's voices out into this world. All right. Having said all that, I now invite you to get comfortable, sit back, and listen in. I'm Hella Rader. With a good sense of humor, an open heart, and an open mind, I love to explore the very human complexities in others and in myself. That's why I created a space for women you have never heard of and could easily pass on the street to share in their own voices the intricacies of starting over in life, building community, inhabiting their bodies, and more. Welcome to our Disco Ball, the stories that sparkle. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah. Woohoo! Hi, Regina.
Hi, Hella.
How are you?
I'm good. Excited.
Here we are. Oh my gosh. So, y'all, I'm not in my sunroom. Obviously, I'm still on the road. I'm here outside of Chicago. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I'm in what I would call a tree house.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's like a A-frame house situation. We're sitting in this gorgeous, I don't even know, angled living room. Right. It's so, I walked in here, when I arrived, I cried. Because I was like, it was like an exhale.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm here with Regina.
It's so fun to have you here in my house.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. This is wonderful because we've spent time together in Connecticut.
We have.
And then a lot of time on Zoom.
We have.
We've had Zoom chit-chats. But I've never been here in your place.
In my home.
In your home where you live.
Right.
Yeah. So it's very exciting.
It is. You'll have to come back too.
Oh, I will. I'll trust me. I'll be back.
Yay.
So, yeah, we just did a dance. We did. We did some dancing, which felt good. I haven't danced, I don't think, in weeks since I've been on the road that I can remember. I'm like, I don't know why I haven't done that.
Yeah. Maybe because you're by yourself and it just sometimes can feel weird, but it feels so good.
It feels so good. I mean, I dance alone at home, so I don't know.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like I'm in the zone.
Right.
Of being on a road.
Right.
This is all good lessons.
Yeah. Right, even that right there. Yeah.
So, Regina, we know each other from our practitioner training program.
Right. Core.
Core energetics. So I think, let's see, I've talked to Julie and Becca already. So there's a third core person.
Ooh, yeah.
Core represent that I've chatted with for this podcast. So it's very exciting.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
This is so fun.
Of course. And thank you for being on the route.
Isn't that great? Yeah. I was going to move and I thought, nope, Hella's coming. Got to stay on the route.
I don't want to move off the route. So no, it's been great. It's been really great to be here. Just like and exhale. Yeah.
Thanks. This is a little slice of heaven where we are.
Yeah. I'm like, I would never move. Ever. Nope. Not doing it.
Nope.
So we were chatting about where do we enter in. I wanted to hear first a little bit about your book, Courageous Gilbert.
Thank you. Yeah.
I wanted to hear, like, how did that come to be? Because you didn't start off as a writer.
No. In fact, I've been a holistic psychotherapist for 36 some years, recently retired from that, and never thought. I had no designs on writing a book, publishing a book. But I had done some healing work about 10 years ago and came home from that weekend, and in the middle of the night, this dream came. And I woke up and I thought, oh my God, there's something there. I need to write this down because I know myself, if I don't write my dreams down, they're gone. So I grabbed my computer and I went downstairs. My son was away at college, so I got in his bed and I'm like typing, all till like 5 a.m. And there was this outline. My husband came down and was like, what are you doing down here? And I was like, I think I have a book, maybe? So I just had this skeleton. I didn't have any of the characters, but the storyline. And then I was making my tea the next morning, and I'm looking out that kitchen window over there, and I look down and I see this creature walking by that had never been on my property, and it has never since been on my property.
Wow.
Yeah. And I said, George, what is that? He goes, that's a groundhog. I go, okay, that's going to be my main character. It has to be, because it's here. And then when I looked up the symbolic meaning of groundhogs, they're about digging for the truth, going underground. I was like, okay, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just then started working on it a little bit at a time, and then got all the other characters, and I'd sit in Starbucks and just type away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was fun. I was like, I'm an author now. I'm going to sit in Starbucks. And found an editor, and then I had seen a woman whose daughter-in-law wrote a book, and she was in the local newspaper. And I thought, okay, I want to hire her to be the illustrator because I wanted it to be local. I had it printed in the United States. I just wanted, it all to be here. And it all just fell together. And she, Sue Detman, who illustrated Courageous Gilbert the Groundhog, she drew every drawing that's in the book, then painted it. Then, I don't know what the magic is between a painting and then a JPEG or whatever it is. I guess she photographed it. I think her artwork is amazing. Just amazing. So we would meet at Starbucks every month, and she'd show me what she drew, and I'd say, oh, those eyes have to be bigger. Oh, that face has to look sadder, because it's all about emotions.
Right.
So, yeah, he's a groundhog who gets picked on by a bully, has stage fright, and hard time making his presentation in front of the class, goes into shock. Those were my issues when I was growing up. So it's my story. Is what it is.
Right.
And yeah, and so he meets a tree who teaches him a deep breathing technique, the 4-7-8 breathing technique. And
what's the 4-7-8 breathing technique, just for those who may not know that?
Absolutely. So I learned it from Andrew Weil, who was the first medical doctor that was holistic.
Oh.
He combined East and West and talked about things like nutrition and exercise and all of that, which I was pretty much already studying, but I was like, wow, here's an official doctor saying this. So it's inhaling through the nose for 4 seconds, holding for 7 seconds, and then a long exhale for 8 seconds. And it's a really great calming technique. So 4-7-8. So I have that in there. And then the tree also teaches Gilbert, you have to calm your nervous system with this kind of breathing, but you also have to do some other things like yell into your hands if you're mad, stomp your feet to move the energy, which is what we're learning in core, right? This energy, we're energetic beings. Energy can get stuck in the body. So if we don't move it, some people believe, and I agree with them, it can cause either dis-ease in the body or disease.
Right.
Stuck energy can cause disease. So we need to move. We're meant to move, like the dance we did before. We're meant to move. We're meant to dance. And that's what helps us stay healthy. It's one of the things that helps us be healthy. So I put all those tools in the book, and when I go to schools and read it, I'm having the kids get up, and we're jumping around, and we're stomping our feet, and we're practicing standing up to the bully so that they can have that muscle memory of, oh, whoa, I don't need to go into shock. I can use my voice and stand up for myself.
Right. Well, we were talking about last night in terms of, the reason I got even involved with a practitioner is because I had a freeze moment at 50 and clearly know yet tools within myself of what to do when that happens. So I'm loving this, that you're taking it to the kids.
Absolutely. And I'm guessing that you know this. When our body goes into that fight, flight, or freeze, that's to protect us.
Right.
So you say, okay, you had a freeze moment at 50. I don't know if I told you this story, but where I sleep downstairs, I had a freeze moment at 64.
Wow.
Someone came to the front and knocked like this. And I woke up, it was 1:50 in the morning. I was like, okay, that's weird. And then it happened again. And I froze. And I just lay there. But you've seen my front doors. I've got glass on either side.
Yeah.
We've got, as you've seen, lights that go on. They're on timers, but other ones that go on if you walk by them, motion detected lights. I didn't want to get up and see who's at the door because they would see me. So the freezing protected me.
Right.
To lay there, to not move, and then they were gone.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
So these things aren't bad.
No, they're not.
But if that's all I do is freeze, it can be a challenge.
Right. Well, yeah, and if I don't know, if it's not actually a life or death situation,
right,
and now I'm frozen and just taking it, whatever it is, I'm like, oh, I wanted to know, how do I unfreeze myself in those moments?
Yeah.
Because I might freeze, but how can I unfreeze?
Exactly.
So I love that you're giving that gift to little kids.
Oh, thank you. Yes, and I say it's written for children of all ages. I've had adults come to me when I first started selling it. This woman came to me at this fair I was at with tears in her eyes. And she said, oh my God, Regina, this is my story. And I said, yeah, it's mine too. And we just had a moment there of like, wow, this is not just me. This is for a lot of us.
Right. So what was the process like in writing it? Like if it, since it is your story, like what was that like for you I heard in there, you just it just flowed out of you pretty much in one big chunk to begin with at least.
Right.
And then you sat in your Starbucks, I'm an author situation. Right. But what was that like, that journey for you to write it?
I feel like because Hella, I was able to put it into characters. It was a little stepped away from me.
Right.
And so it was about them. And it just flowed again. It the hardest part then was really finding the editor, all the other logistical things that have to happen. The story kind of wrote itself.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I'll just add in, so I stepped away from the book after I published it and got it out there. Life took over. Life events happened that, were really important and really big things, so I kind of got distracted from writing. But as I've been moving my energy with core, all these ideas have come to me. So the second book, which is due out in about a month or two, is about how Gilbert forgives the bully.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's going to talk, so he's going to learn, the tree's going to teach him how to ground himself because his buttons get pushed. He gets triggered by people, and then he does what the bully is like, laughing at someone. And someone says, well, why'd you let him push your buttons? And he's like, What do you mean? What are buttons? What are triggers?
Right. What are these buttons you're talking about?
Right, right. And so I explain, because even with the first book, I didn't understand a lot of these topics at first. And so I thought, if I can write them into a children's book that adults who have the same level of shock that I had, they can understand it. So that's, now that we're going to talk about triggers, we're going to talk about the grounding technique to stay in your body, and then the fact that the bully wasn't born a bully. Somebody bullied that bully. Somebody bullied that person who bullied, you know, that generational trauma, without using those words.
Right.
So bring in some of these big topics without, but making them accessible for everyone.
Right. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And then that forgiveness isn't easy. And then the bully's like, wait, why are you treating me like that? No one's ever talked to me like that.
What, nicely, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, and then there's one I have about death and the whole death and dying, you know, energetically what happens when we die. But I have to say, my nephew came to me, and he's a triplet, and he and his brother have cerebral palsy, and he said, Aunt Regina, you need to write a book about kids with disabilities. And I was like, you're right. And while I have a daughter on the spectrum, I just feel like his story is really important.
Right.
You know, his brother's in a wheelchair, he's nonverbal, and he's like, you know, people look at us differently, and we don't want to be looked at differently.
Right.
We just want to be treated like everybody else. Like, that's the biggest part of the story. Don't
That's heartbreaking.
like, don't put on those kid gloves around us. Just be your normal self with us, because we're normal people.
Right.
Was his point. It is heartbreaking, right?
Like, I've talked to several people about the various forms of grief and loss. And the recurring theme for them is also, don't handle me with kid gloves. Like, just
bring it up. Ask the questions.
Ask the questions.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
let me talk about it. You know, let me drive the car in terms of where I'm going with this, if I want to talk or not talk. And it feels very similar. I don't know what the connection there is, but it feels very, that same energy of like, don't be so, like, you know, be uncomfortable with me, or if you're uncomfortable, like, let's name it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a really important part. I mean, when we realize we're all in this together, we're all part of each other, we're all, you know, connected in some way, there are no differences. Excuse me, there are no differences. Yeah. And right, just that we're all connected.
Right. Yeah, I love this. Well, that brings us to, you had a note that says woo.
No, it says woo woo.
Oh, woo woo. Okay.
Right. The term for psychic or
But
energetic
that whole
or
thing
spiritual.
about that we're all connected feels like all about the woo woo.
Absolutely.
Like that energetic, psychic connection point. So what's your journey with that been like?
So interesting. So interesting. I think I was telling you maybe this earlier. I remember in like 4th grade, I had a friend sleep over, and I don't know, in 4th grade we're talking about, she's asking me, what do you think happens when we die? She goes, I think it's just black. Like you're just in a room of darkness. And I remember even then thinking, nah, there's got to be more. Please,
Please
there
tell
be
me
more.
there's more. Yeah.
Right. And so I feel like that really was the beginning of my quest of why are we here? What's going on? What else is here that's not right in front of my face? And so, and definitely I'm an empath. Definitely I can feel energy and other people's energy. And that's also one of those techniques that you learn to survive. I mean, like, what's going on in the house? What's going on with siblings? What's going on with that teacher? What's going on with that person? You know, I just was always really in tune with all of that. I firmly believe everything happens for a reason.
Right.
So everything that's happened to me in my life is for a reason. So I was training with this organization, the Wellness Institute, and I learned how to do. So I'm a holistic psychotherapist, retired. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Holistic psychotherapist.
Body, emotion, mind, spirit.
Got it.
So I would work with my clients on the physical level, the mental, the thoughts, the emotions, obviously, but also their spiritual side, whatever that meant to them. It wasn't what it means to me. It was whatever it meant to them.
Right.
So like my altar you saw over there, that was in my office. We could sit and we could chant, or we could pray, or we could not. We could just sit and be wherever they were. And that was Andrew Weil too. He was holistic. You know, let's bring it all together.
Right. Right.
So I'm learning. Well, first I had my first heart-centered hypnotherapy session, and then I learned to become a hypnotherapist, heart-centered. And just part of the process is, you know, you go through this amazing clearing, cleansing, self-loving process. And she said, okay, now allow an image to come to you, a symbol that represents how great you feel right now. And I get the symbol of a smiley face. Yellow circle, 2 eyes, and a mouth. And I'm in my head going, oh, come on, that's so corny. That's so corny. I started seeing smiley faces everywhere.
Really?
I started taking pictures of them. My daughter was getting so annoyed at me, like, Mom, stop it. The first one I saw was, we had a tree that was cut down, and in the side cut, there's 2 eyes and a smile.
Whoa.
Literally, I have pictures of these things. Then I see it, we're moving mulch, and the mulch is out of the wheelbarrow. There's 2 eyes and a mouth left of the mulch. Hella, I see them when I'm doing dishes. There's bubbles from a glass I pick up. There's 2 eyes and a mouth.
Whoa.
There's one on the side of this table here. I'll show you later. I see them in a lot in nature. So a lot in nature, like in a leaf on the ground, or a rock's face, or the side of a tree, the side of a rock. After my dad died, we were hiking in the mountains, and I was like, Dad, send me a sign, send me a sign. And sure enough, you know, it's not like the smiley face on the yellow circle, but there's 2 eyes and a mouth. So I asked a meditation teacher I was working with at the time, I said, what's with all the smiley
what's the
faces?
deal?
Right. And he said, that's your spirit guides. I'd gotten in a car accident with my son. I'll tell you about that in a minute. After we got home from the hospital, I'm brushing my teeth, I look down, and in the drain is a smiley face.
Whoa.
Right? It was an accident where if it had been a few feet, I would have been killed.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was one of those times where our car hit a van going like 45 miles an hour. Time slowed down.
Okay, so what is that like? Yeah.
It was so, because I've heard about that happening for people. The van just goes, I'm moving my hand like it's in front of the van in front of the car. I'll never forget that for as long as I live. It was going 45 miles an hour. But my brain, not sure how that works, it slowed it down so that it was going inch by inch by inch in front of us, and then it was gone.
Wow.
Right? So there's all this stuff. There's all this stuff around, and I am open to it, and I love it, and it's always been, well, okay, there was one thing that was a little bit scary. I was going to say it's always been safe feeling, but there's this one time that it was kind of scary. So I believe in spirits and guides and ghosts and aliens and all of that. So my husband and I, you've seen our house, you're here. There's a lot of windows in that front hall area.
Yeah.
So I said to him one day, we're out to eat, and I said, do you ever notice like a shadow darting past you, like when you're up in this upper part of the house? He goes, yeah, I meant to ask you about that, and we had never talked about it. And I'm thinking, well, maybe it's just because there's all those windows, and maybe a car went by. But there wasn't cars going by.
Wow.
We were just noticing this flash of a shadow. So I talked to a friend of mine, a colleague in Chicago, and he said, it's a spirit, it's a ghost. You know, they're just saying hi. But I've learned that sometimes it can be an energy of a person that has a hard time crossing over to the next whatever. And so he had suggested, we'll just ask them if they need anything and let them know it's okay to move on. So I'm like, okay, you know, bracing myself, okay, next time I see it. So we're gathering up the kids, we have 3 kids, and getting them into the car. My one son, was always the one that was taking the longest. And so I know my husband's out in the car, and 2 of the kids are in the car, and I think Dylan, I look back and I see him go from his room to the bathroom downstairs. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll take my stuff and put it in the car, whatever I was carrying, and I'll go back in, and there's no Dylan in the bedroom. In the shower room, there's a shower curtain at the time. There's no Dylan in the bathroom, but the shower curtain's closed. And I'm like, okay, I got to open the shower curtain and see what's there.
What's
right, I'm
you?
like psycho. So I just, grounded myself, and I paused, and I said, okay, whoever is in here, you have my permission to leave, or please go, it's okay, it's safe. And I opened it, and there was nothing there, and we never saw that energy in the house again.
Wow.
Right?
Dang.
That was pretty cool.
So have you always, I know you mentioned it before, you were wondering like what happens when we cross over, but like have you always been curious about the woo-woo or have you always been open to it?
Yep, I have.
Like you've never felt any kind of resistance to it? It's just always been there?
It's always been a curiosity, and I always felt safe about it, that I wasn't in harm's way in any way. I mean, in high school, there was a class, Search for Life's Meanings. So I was with a friend, and we would say, let's get heavy, deep, and real with our conversations. Like, let's really talk about the nitty-gritty. And then philosophy major in college. I was just always
Right, like
leaning
a seeker.
towards that way, a seeker.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And then my husband and I had been hiking in California, and our guide had these white feathers on his car. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And he goes, yeah, the Native Americans believe that if you have a feather in your car will be protected. And I thought, okay, I like that. We can do that. So we'd get feathers and we put them in our car. And life goes on. And then I'm taking another class, and this woman says, okay, look for things in groups of 3 and then see what the message is. And so I was driving to the next town over, and I'm in, at the time we had an expedition type car because the kids and all their sports equipments or whatever. So I'm in this car that's kind of high off the ground, and a truck goes by. It's a moving truck in the area, but it has my initials, REM. It's like, oh, cool, there's my initials. And then I'm driving a little bit further, and there's a car that I think actually said Regina.
Oh my God.
Which I don't often see my name anywhere.
Right.
I'm like, okay, whoa. And then with that, now the windows are open, it's a nice sunny day, the feather was somehow underneath. I thought I put it in the glove box. It was underneath the seat in the front. It came wafting out. And I was like, okay, there's 3 things that are getting my attention. And with that, I slowed my truck down. I'm on a bridge with a cement median, the subby one, to my left. A semi pulled into my lane. If I had not slowed down, I would have flipped.
Whoa.
Right. I was like, okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. I just feel like I have helpers that are keeping me safe.
Right. And I also hear that you're paying attention though.
Right.
You're
I'm learning to. Didn't in the past.
Right.
But I've taken enough classes now where I believe and I'm learning to remember. Yeah. So you want to hear about the animals?
I do want to hear, because, okay, so, I have lots of animal encounters because I have a deer that visits and will stand right by my window when I'm in the sunroom and just hang out there. And then sometimes it eats out of the bird feeder and drinks from the bird bath. Sometimes it just stands there and stares at me.
Wow. Do you ever hear anything in your head?
No, not that no, but it's more just I see you.
Yeah. That's
vibes.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They show up to give us information and then they move on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to the next person or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about your animal encounters.
So my first weekend at CORE,
Oh, wow.
I did a huge clearing, releasing, letting go of some old stuff. But it wasn't sitting well with me. Mm-hmm. I was feeling very, I don't know, I think shame and guilt, and I'm a bad person, and just this downward spiral of I'm just awful. Maybe even the fact that I brought, my, whatever was my issue I was working on, that I brought it out, and maybe I spoke about it or something like that. I don't remember. I just knew I was really agitated, and I went to bed, and I woke up, and I had such a nightmare in me. And I got up, so the 2 bedrooms downstairs, so I'm in the one that's closest to that side of the house, and I walked to the bathroom, and when I came back, the room you're in, you know, the window that's got like the gland to it, so it's an English garden type window, I guess it's called. There's something sitting there, and it's like looking in, and I have no idea what it is. So I went and got my phone, and I put the light on it. It was a coyote.
Wow.
And now we've had coyotes come and go, so it wasn't totally unusual that a coyote, but they don't sit by the house and stare at the window.
No.
So I'm
Not
just
usually.
like,
That's like my deer, yeah.
right, in this middle of the night. Because I thought it was like a big raccoon or something, like sitting up like this, because it was just so tall. So I didn't take a picture. I kind of wish I had taken a picture of it, but I went back to bed and I got under the blankets. And I thought about it the next day and I researched. It symbolizes adaptability and the ability to embrace change and find solutions in unexpected situations.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, just the whole idea that an animal and their symbolism and their truths and how they relate to us, where we are at that moment.
Right, right.
Blows my mind.
That is mind-blowing.
Yeah, and then it went and walked away right after I saw it. Never saw him again.
Wow.
It's like the little pause, like, okay, girl.
Like, heads up, yo.
You got this now. You know, a little fist bump or something. Unbelievable. And then just last week, so I forget what I was, I think I was making some big decision in my life. And George and I are downstairs, we're watching a movie, and we've got speakers, surround speakers, so sometimes you hear sounds like behind you. And I hear this thumping over here. And I thought it was part of the movie.
Right.
But then it got louder. And now, you know, we live on a lake right here.
Mm-hmm.
Snapping turtle, literally this big, is got its arm trying to get into the house.
Whoa. You like what is happening here?
Now, I see them in the spring. We see them come up the dam, go into the water.
Right.
They've laid eggs on our beach.
Oh.
Or one time, one tried to lay eggs in the front garden, but never tried to come into the house.
Right.
This one's banging on the door to get in. I know it. It was so interesting. And then we were like, well, okay, we're not letting it in.
Right.
And we go back to our show, then it's gone.
Wow.
So I looked that one up, and it's about a call to action, to be strong, to defend yourself, to stand firm in your beliefs, and do so with powerful determination.
Wow.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Like, so how do you take all of these visitors and these moments that you have, and like, what do you do with that then? Like, does that work for you in terms of, you know, I mean, because obviously, first of all, you're open to it meaning something. So you look it up and you're like, okay, and then then what? Like, you sit with it? Like, well, how does that then process out for you in terms of how do you use it for yourself?
Well, I like what you said. I sit with it. Because I don't have that in my brain. What's the turtle? What's the coyote? What's the eagle? What's the whatever? Symbolism, the groundhog. But once I look it up, I go, oh, that makes so much sense, Regina. And I believe, since I believe we're all connected, since I believe we're all in this together, we are connected with plants, animals, the universe, the stars, you know, they all have an energetic part to them, and we are energy. So I love that they come and give me information. I love that, and I'm gonna back up a minute because I forgot about this part. I really feel like these experiences, they're meant to be for me, they're meant to happen, and they can happen for anybody. I think you're right, you have to be open to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to an all-girls Catholic high school. There was a guys' high school that we hung out with. And one of our dear friends, he died, gosh, it's probably been 10 years now, maybe a little bit longer. And it was hard. It was hard on all of us. Sorry.
That's okay. Hold on.
It's probably him here now,
right?
trying
He's
to.
Like, stop talking about me.
You tell everybody this story. Stop it. So I'm down. So he dies. The funeral, the wake, the funeral. This is the morning of the wake. I'm downstairs in the exercise room, and I'm on the ground. I'm doing like sit-ups or something, and I feel his energy. And this has never happened to me before, right next to me. And I know it's him. I don't see it. Some people can see people. I don't see him, but I know it's him. And he says energetically, "I am so happy now." And I just burst into tears. It's one of those moments where you know it's real, and I just started crying, like, oh my gosh. And I was happy for him. I was happy for him. I missed him, but I was happy for him that he felt so good. And so it was just powerful, this powerful moment. So go to the wake, go to the funeral. And after the funeral that night, he came to me in a dream. And he said, "Okay, I have to go now."
Wow.
And I put that in my book. There's a part where, and it's probably go into each book where it says, "I have to go now."
Aw,
I know.
I love that.
There was one more thing that happened that I want to share that it did unsettle me. It did kind of rock me, but in a weird way. Do we have time?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So my daughter Tara, she was going to school down in the city, and she goes, "Mom, there's this really cool neighborhood. I want you to come check it out." And so it was summertime. She was off school, and we get on a train, the train that takes us into Chicago. And when I was growing up, we have a lot of trains heading into the city, and the train station used to be closer to, say, an intersection.
Right.
And so, so the train station was close to an intersection, so when the train would stop to let people off, it would block traffic. So they moved stations down, they had the trains, go further. So we're about halfway to the city, and we're in this little town, and the train stops in the middle of the intersection. I was like, God, I thought they moved all the train stations. And so we're just sitting there, it's a really hot day out, and all of a sudden I look over, and there's cars over here, and a woman goes like this. She covers her mouth and she points at our car. And then I see people stopped over here getting out of their car looking at our car.
What?
Right? I was like, oh shit. And so we're just like sitting there, have no idea what's going on. I have no idea why we're stopped. And my daughter looks out the window. She goes, "Mom, I think we hit somebody." I was like, Tara, don't say that, because all these people are on the train. I'm like thinking I have to protect them. She goes, "No, look, there's a shoe, there's a mug, there's some keys, there's a cell phone, all scattered on the ground right next to our car." And Hella, within minutes, the Chicago police, the Edison Park police, the Metro police, fire trucks, ambulances were all like converging on our car. And there's still all this traffic that now can't go anywhere. A pedestrian had been hit by the train and ended up under our car.
Oh my God.
I know. And so I'm sitting there, and it's, we can't move. We can't get off the car. We can't do anything. A conductor's coming back and forth, checking on everybody on the train. Yeah, I was raised Catholic, and I feel like I'm not strict Catholic today.
Yeah.
But I knew to pray. And that's all I could think to do was to pray. I'm praying for the woman. I'm praying for the driver of the train, that conductor. I'm praying for everyone sitting in the train, because everyone's acting really patient. And it's like really hot out, and there's little kids running up and down, but everyone was like they were fine. Instead of like freaking out. Or I prayed for the firefighters, I prayed for the ambulance driver, I prayed for the people stuck in the traffic, I just kept praying. It seemed like the right thing to do. And we were there probably an hour, maybe a little bit longer. And they were bringing water to us and everything, and he's just like, the conductor who was driving, he goes home. They don't make him keep driving, which I was like, I didn't know that. That's a cool thing.
Right.
And he kept thanking us for our patience. And so finally, he just came in and he said, "I don't know what happened here, but usually when train meets pedestrian, train wins. Pedestrian doesn't." He said, "This pedestrian's living."
What?
I know.
My God.
Right? And so they got her on the gurney, and they take her to the ambulance, and then, everything slowly kind of clears up. And I was like, okay, that was really wild. That was really wild. And I talked with one of my teachers about it, and she said, your prayers saved that woman. And I was like, no. I couldn't take that in. I can't possibly be that powerful.
Right.
And she's like, no, you really did. Your prayers really did, save her. And we talked for like half an hour, and I'm going, no, no. And she's like, yes, yes. I'm like, no, no. And I'm crying. She's like, I don't know what else to tell you, but prayers work.
Right.
And
Right.
I've heard that, but I couldn't own it for me.
Right. Right.
And
Wow.
so I kept checking to see online, did she die? Never saw anything.
Wow.
Yeah. I know, right?
That's intense.
It was intense.
So yeah, so like how did you navigate that? Like post that, like what did that do to your spiritual journey?
It was kind of it was confusing. I'm learning that I have this higher power, I have this higher self, but I wasn't brought up that way. God's way up here, we're way down here. And so that was like, again, they're going, Regina, wake up.
Right.
All my guides and everybody's like, no, we all have higher selves. We are all connected. Prayers do work. And I've read research now on studies where women in, I think, India are praying for women here in the States who can't get pregnant, and all of a sudden they're getting pregnant.
Right.
Like, there's just such amazing things out there. So it shook me up.
Yeah.
And then the further I got away from it, the more I'm like, okay, again, that was meant to happen.
Right.
To prove to me.
Right. To teach you something.
Yeah.
So if, what, in your experience, also having worked with others for many years as a holistic psychotherapist, like what are some, if someone listening to this and they're having these encounters or they just have this knowing like this means something, but I don't know what to do with it, or I don't know how to access that, or I don't even maybe notice it, but I'm curious. Like, what would you say to them? Like, what would be some pathways to embark upon, to explore that? Like, what would you suggest?
Great question. I think the first thing is to work to really trust yourself and believe in yourself first off. Because this is not just me. This is everybody has access to the spiritual side of life. Everybody has access. We are energetic beings, so our energy we all have energy. Everything has energy, everything that's alive. And there's lots of books. There's lots of classes. There's lots of YouTubes right now, which I never thought I would say that, or even Instagrams, and there are quality people who are talking about this. Like, I feel like these conversations are bigger now than ever. So there's really more access to this whole woo-woo stuff, and it's being taken seriously.
Right.
I mean, there's some pretty high-level scholars that are writing about this now and doing the research, and it's the other thing is, energy is quantum physics. It's not woo-woo. It's real.
Right. Yeah, I always say that my spiritual understandings, like my concept of God, is very quantum physics adjacent.
Right.
So it's, it's a scientific thing.
Right.
It's not just woo-woo.
Right.
Out there. Woo!
And I get that when we didn't have Einstein's theory of relativity, people thought it was woo-woo. But I've also come to know that, if we're only using a certain part of our brain, some people have access to, if we're only using, you and I are only using 10% of our brain maybe, or maybe you use 15%. Other people use a whole lot more. And those are the ones that I've worked with that can see people who have crossed over. They can talk to them and they're not making this up. Or they can see, aliens or whatever. Well, we all know that aliens are here now and have been for quite a while. So there's a lot of proof out there. There's a lot of programming right now.
Right. So how do you how do you navigate this in your relationships with others, for example? Like, do you find that most of the people you're friends with or that are in your community of friends share a similar view of things in this regard of the woo, the quantum physics woo, or is that not necessarily so?
I think some do. Luckily, I'm married to a man who takes all of this in. He'll go to classes with me. In fact, we have a UFO expert coming to the library next week.
Oh my God,
And
I
we're
love
both,
that.
right? We're both like, let's go. I guess I read people, and if they're open to it, I'll talk about it. And if they're not, I don't need to go there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Everybody's right where they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's like, what's that thing? Like, we're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yes.
I don't know who said that. It wasn't me. I didn't come up with that. I know that, but
Yeah.
I can't attribute it at the moment. But so I just always am so curious, like, how to walk through life having some of that capacity. But it's not necessarily everyone around me has that capacity.
Right. Well, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I think I just don't talk about it unless what you're saying. Like, I talk about it in certain places, not because I'm ashamed of it, but I don't necessarily feel the need to go there if I'm like, that's not that person's cup of tea or their jam.
Why would I want to push that on somebody?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah. And how has this helped you in your, without, we don't have to get into like the minutiae of things, but like, how has this expansion, because this has been another recurring theme, this idea of expansion. So, because what I'm hearing a lot of in here is coming from one place growing up, but then expanding that outward and being curious and seeking out and letting it get bigger and bigger and bigger over time and experience. But so how has that, I don't know if I've already asked it differently this way before, but how has that helped you in your journey with just healing for yourself? Because you're somebody who's worked with a lot of people helping them heal. So like now I'm curious, like how does that show up for the person helping others heal? How do you heal as well,
Well, I've always been curious. I've always been a seeker. So it's, I guess it just helped me make sense of the world and make sense of why everything happens for a reason. Because some things don't make any sense at all. Like, why on earth was that done like that? But then when I think, okay, well, everything happens for a reason. And that's a really hard thing to swallow, because some things are not nice and they happen. They're not fun and they happen. My belief is I can learn from everything that's ever happened to me. From the time that I shattered my wrist, or the time that I had to get stitches in the bottom of my foot because I was a kid, or when my brother let the snurfer go and it hit me in the lower part of my mouth here. Just all of those things that happen for a reason. And it's my choice to learn from it or not.
Right.
And it is a choice.
No, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, I can choose to do something different or look at it or not look at it. Either way, it's my choice at that point, whenever something good or bad happens.
Right. Right.
As someone who's worked with others for a long time, you're retired now, but as someone who did that for a long time, like what I guess was your takeaway if you were talking to a young person embarking on becoming a therapist? Like, what's the one suggestion you have for them on like how they can navigate that? Obviously there's a whole bunch of training, et cetera, but like just from your lived experience, like if you wish you had known at the beginning.
I guess I wish I knew to be in my body, and then really, because I could get really excited about what people were bringing in, even if it was a really challenging situation. I was like, okay, be in my body so that I can be present for them to help them figure out, okay, what's the next step? Where do you want to go with that? What do you want to do about that? Do you even want to do anything about it? And be excited with them. I think when I was first starting out, like anything, I was scared. Oh, I don't know how to, help this person, or I don't know how to fix them.
Right.
And it was never my job to fix them. And so as you mature, you realize I'm there to support and to hold them and to give advice. They can take it or not. I can point them in different directions. They can take it or not. But really, it's about being present. Allowing them to be themselves with unconditional presence, if you will.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, I like that.
me too.
So how have you learned to hold your space? Because I hear in there, like, while you're holding space for someone else, because this is what I've been working on. It feels like for the last 6 months, is leaving space, holding space for others, but then also making sure I'm holding my own space.
Yeah.
You know, leaving space around my own self.
Well, and that's kind of it's hard for women. I was raised that I'm to help take care of everybody else, and I'm last. And that's the big flip that I'm working on still, is putting myself first. You know, you hear it's that flight attendant philosophy. You got to put your airbag on first. So I have to, with what I eat, with how I move throughout the day or exercise, it's quiet time or journaling or breathing, take care of myself first, because then I'm available to my husband, to my kids, to my grandkids, you know, and I like that. I like coming from a healthy place, being available for all of them.
Yeah, it's, you know, thank you, because, you know, as I'm expanding and adding more things to my life, good grief. I'm like, oh, it's going to be even more important that I take care of myself first, make time for myself first.
Right.
Like, tend to myself first.
And not feel guilty.
And not feel guilty, yeah.
Right.
Because I can then actually show up in these other places much better.
Yeah. Being our authentic self.
Right. Yeah.
I wish I knew that 36 some years ago.
Right.
What my authentic self actually meant, what it was.
Yeah. What does that mean today?
Well, and I'm happy that I have it today. You know, it means everything we just said. Putting myself first, being grounded, knowing what I feel, knowing what I like, what I don't like, what I want to do, what I don't want to do, and being able to say, nah, don't want to do that. Yeah, I definitely want to do that. That one over there, never.
Right.
Never.
That does not work for me.
Not at all.
Yeah, I think I've heard this now also differently, a few different ways. You know, I was talking with someone yesterday about, you know, she made a big change in her early 50s. And, you know, her thing was like, not just if not now, when, but if not me, who? And also this idea of like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Like, I can't be, I actually feel young. She's like, I feel younger than I have ever, because I don't care so much anymore what other people think about what I'm doing or not doing.
Think about those burdens and how heavy that is on us. And a lot of us were programmed to be that way as kids, and that's how we got our love or our nurturing or attention. Oh, thank God, thank you for doing all those dishes, or thank you for whatever it was that you did for other people. They weren't thanking me for journaling, or thank you for doing your deep breathing.
Right.
That wasn't,
No,
but that wasn't around back in the 60s.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Nobody was thanking me for journaling. Thank you for taking care of yourself. That's so great.
I know.
No, it's always like, thank you for doing stuff for me.
Right. We were human doers instead of human beings or
Right.
beers.
So I guess one last thing, like, what does being a human being, not human doer, look like for you today?
Similar things that I've already mentioned, and like going outside in bare feet and spending time just looking at the plants, looking at the trees, just doing those kinds of things, being out in nature. I've got 3 grandchildren, and it's such a gift, and I want to be grounded and present for them so that they will remember this grandma. I didn't know my grandmas that well. You know, they were older when I was, born, and I have a really special opportunity. So I want to be grounded, I want to be present, I want to be fun, I want to be the fun grandma.
Right.
You know, we dance, we play, we be silly. Yeah. Yeah.
I love
so
that.
that's really important.
I love
I want
that.
to. I want to break some of the old cycles.
Mm.
Break some of the old patterns.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing there. Like, yeah, like I can contribute differently
Right.
to this next generation.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. And I know my parents were right where they were. They were doing the best they could. I totally get that.
Right.
And I get a choice to do it differently.
Right. Yeah. Well, and let's see what we saw some ducks walking down the street.
We did.
They were mom and dad,
I know it.
right? And they were like, do, 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 do,
Yeah.
do, do.
Having their daily walk.
I love it. And we're going to take a daily walk. So, I mean, you know, just flowing with the nature vibes.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, it's so easy, y'all, in this space because it feels like I'm in a tree house.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Surrounded by beautiful trees.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Regina, for sharing all of the, like, this quantum physics adjacent or quantum physics period spiritual knowings. I love this.
Thanks. I do too.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to talk about it.
Oh, I'm so excited you did.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, I know that it sometimes can sound like, what the hell, woo woo, what's that about, you know?
Right.
And I love that for you, you did it was so helpful for me to be like, right, it's just that simple. It's actually really simple. If I'm paying attention, I'll notice it.
It's everywhere. It's all around us.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe your sign isn't a smiley face. Maybe it's a cardinal. Maybe it's something else.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say they see white feathers.
Right.
And they know someone's visiting them, or the cardinal, or a deer. I've heard a deer often.
Yeah.
Is
I have
being visited.
I have a black butterfly that's one very specific person.
Wow.
It appeared right before she passed away, and it comes back at key times since.
I believe we have that power once we cross over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you hear about lights turning on or phones getting dialed and all that stuff.
Yep. I've had all those things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's something I used to shut off because I'm like, that's weird.
Right?
And I can't admit to that and blah, blah, blah.
No one will believe me. They'll
right,
think I'm...
It sounds Looney Tunes.
Right.
You know, which I think, and so that's why I'm glad we're having this conversation. Like, it's not Looney Tunes. It's actually just part of life.
It's part of life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah. So, well, thank you. I can't wait to go for our walk.
I know. Let's go.
Yay! All right.
Thank you, Hella.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again for listening to The Stories That Sparkle, a space I created for women to share in their own voices the intricacies of their stories, and a huge, massive, big gigando, as I like to say, thank you to Regina. Oh my goodness, not just for having this conversation with me and sharing her experience with the woo-woo and spirituality, not just for her hospitality while I was staying with her in her home in Chicago, but really for just being this amazing, calming, loving presence in my life. My face and everything about me lights up when I'm around Regina. She just brings so much joy and comfort to me. It's a real privilege and honor to be her friend, and I just love her to bits and pieces. So I have put links to all things Regina in the show notes, including her book, Courageous Gilbert. Please follow her on Instagram and be notified about her newest book coming out once it's done being printed. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. She is amazeballs. And of course, as always, if you have a story you would like to share or a topic for the podcast, please drop me a line to hellarader@substack.com. And to help me build this platform and keep things going, please become a free or paid subscriber to my Substack, hellarader.substack.com, because together we bring light into dark places.